Good evening. My name is Chase Ferguson, and I'm a master's in history student at Liberty University. And first thing that I want to discuss today is the fact that historians should always strive to be as honest and objective in any work that they do, and always present the truth as best as they know possible. All right. Having said that, we're discussing Thomas Jefferson today. Thomas Jefferson, the author of the Declaration of Independence, the third president of the United States, the author of the Virginia Statute of Religious Freedom, an absolute champion for human rights the world over, and continues to be this to this day. As you know, the Declaration of Independence has certainly lived on, and it's taken on great meaning in other countries as well as ours, and revolutions and movements all around the world. Thomas Jefferson was born in 1743, and he lived through an interesting time. That time specifically being the early revolutionary period, so kind of born into the Great Awakening era, living through the Revolution and becoming somewhat of a statesman right at the beginning of the real independence movement, and a popular one at that. Very intelligent man. But what we're here to talk about today is his legacy. What do people think of when they think of Thomas Jefferson now? Do they just think of the Jefferson Memorial in Washington, D.C., or do they think about the slender, tall man that lived in colonial Virginia and was an agriculturalist and slave owner of over 600 slaves? Yet he still advocated for abolition. So he's a very interesting man. He's like a walking contradiction, some could argue. But needless to say, he's certainly a person of great intellect. He's an agriculturalist. He really pushed for the rural lifestyle over urbanization. He thought that was a more holistic type of living, that it was more pure, and thought that was really the best way for independent Americans to live. Needless to say, he has somewhat of an interesting history with slavery. He had a slave named Sally Hemings, and she lived with with her family and the others there at Monticello, and actually traveled multiple locations with Jefferson as well during her time. And there's certainly the possibility that Thomas Jefferson could be the potential father of some of her children. It's not confirmed or denied necessarily. There's DNA evidence that suggests that it's not impossible, yet it's not a fact. So it's at best probable, at worst it's not. So either way, it's very interesting, and it's sort of the sticking point in Thomas Jefferson's legacy. Other than the fact that he didn't really serve during the War for Independence as a warrior, slavery was really one of his biggest things. I mean, Thomas Jefferson as a statesman, as a president, as a politician, it's hard to argue with his prowess there and the understanding of law and human liberties. Yet, being a champion that entire time, being a slave owner of over 600 slaves, and consistently championing abolition, but yet he always believed that it had to be done all at once. It couldn't be done slowly over time. Perhaps that's because he had the best interest of the slaves at heart, knowing that if he simply freed them all, randomly, that what would they do? Where would they go? How would they take care of themselves? How would they subsist? So perhaps maybe it was in their best interest that he felt that at least if they were under his care in some way, shape, or form, there was work for them to be done, for them to do, and there was food to be provided for them. So potentially, maybe that's how he justified it in his mind. But we can't necessarily be there. But I think those are the important things when we think about Jefferson. Those are the important things we need to consider. Remember, he's a man. Complicated situations happen in his life, much like they do today in ours, and his works are certainly worth a read. Needless to say, Thomas Jefferson's legacy is one of the greatest founding fathers in American history, and one full of ideals, and has changed the world forever. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down in the comment section below. Thank you, and have a great day.